Joining me in on the phone here very shortly, we are going to wait on Lieutenant Colonel. Oh my goodness, the Lieutenant Colonel is here. Oh my God, girl! Oh, boy, if this is not a surprise. Oh my goodness, here.
Is it okay?
Yes, absolutely. Y'all, she's probably going to need this other chair. I thought you were calling in. This is such a surprise.
I'm so cool.
Here, so you can see, here's our camera right here.
Oh, okay.
So you can see.
I'm
and
just
we're
looking
going to have
off
to
me
adjust
here.
that.
Hey, how you doing?
I know. We're going to have to adjust that a little bit because she's even shorter than me. Like, that
I
never
know.
happens. Good morning.
People always say, are you standing up? Yeah, I'm standing up.
I know. Hey, can we get her the other chair, please?
A booster seat? I feel like I'm in a restaurant or something.
The other one. Do you mind? Because she's shorter than me. Let's help her out here. Right, yes, please. Thank you. Here, Sherilyn.
So I guess that goes to the first question. How tall are you?
I know, right? Here you go.
Oh, I get set way up here. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you do.
It's like doing a parachute landing
And
ball.
I know, right? And this, you've totally got this.
I'm
there
taller
you go.
than you.
And I'm totally okay with that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I was absolutely, positively surprised. Let me move my coffee.
I'm going to drink it.
So,
I'm so excited.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell everybody who you are.
Did I throw you off a little bit?
You did.
Okay.
I know.
Let's not be thrown off.
I know, and I tell you, I'm not taken by surprise very often, but holy Toledo, Batman,
We've been hiding in the back.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Boys,
like 4:30 this morning.
Shame on you.
They did so good.
He did, because he was like, hey, Zoom isn't working. And I was like, oh, well, just tell her to call in. It's totally fine.
That's fun.
Yeah, you're in trouble, Mr.
We're the party of fun,
I'm
baby.
not buying you
let me tell
breakfast this morning. Okay, so let's tell everybody who you are.
Oh,
Other than my friend, clearly.
Okay. Well, my name is Lynn Womack, and I am running for vice chair of the North Carolina State Republican Party. Mm-hmm. And, you were supposed to ask, I'm supposed to tell you about myself. Oh, okay. Well,
It's okay.
I spent 33 years on active duty in the United States Army, and I did 2 tours of combat. And I came home, and I don't like the way our state and our nation is going, and I decided to do something about it. So it didn't take all that time in service to realize that we're at war, fighting for Christian conservative values. And I'm seeing it not just in North Carolina, but all the way across the state. I mean, did you ever think there would ever be a time in your life that you would walk in a bank with a mask on and say, hey, give me money?
Give me money?
And they would do it.
I know.
Think about it. And defund the police. Come on. I mean,
No.
some of this stuff is so absurd, it's mind-blowing. Well, I also serve on the Lee County Board of Education, and you're watching, and I think COVID was a good thing. I do, because parents are now paying attention, and that's something I'd like to do at the state level, too. I've talked to them about this before. We need, just like we have a judicial section at the NCGOP, we actually need something like that for education. Even have a GOP elephant with the apple on the top of the hump. All these fun ideas, that kind of stuff. And teach
like
them.
your Women for Trump elephant.
Yes. Now, Women for Trump was a blast. Everybody loved that. We did a lot of fun stuff. But it taught people how to defend their values. Even in the Bible, it tells us we got to be prepared to defend those values. So I love that kind of stuff. And I love the party. And I just know that there's so much more that we can do to get out and reach people. We have over 2 million and some plus Republicans in the state of North Carolina, registered Republicans. As of a few days ago, a list that I got, we got 1,300 coming to the convention, and 241, I think, that are coming in remotely. Now, you think about those numbers. That's 2.1. I got the exact numbers down here. Here, wait a minute. Check this out. Here you go. See, I wrote it down here.
Oh, see, I'm writing it down.
2,159,499 Republicans. That we should be just swamped. You would think that, but see, the reason they don't do this, I do understand this as well. Like the Women for Trump, you realize we had a lot of people that were a part of that organization and still do, but they're teachers or they're married to police officers, and they get to where, they're ashamed to say they're Republican. I've been places and they say, take your badge off before you walk down the street. Psst, no, I'm not. I'm a Christian. I'm a conservative. I'm a child of God. I'm not ashamed of it.
Right.
And so it's the same thing. People are just afraid to stand up or speak up, and I'm not. Well, when I'm standing, you can't even tell if I'm standing or sitting, so that doesn't matter.
I know.
But I love being out and doing the outreach stuff, and we do a lot of things different, a little bit than most counties can do, and that's something you can teach all across the state. And I love going to the smaller counties. They're my favorite, you know.
Yes.
I went to Scotland the other day. I was hoping to see them in knickers or something, but it wasn't quite like that. But I had a blast with those counties, and I love them, and they know it, because I truly believe people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So that's what we do. We go out, we get people involved, and everybody has a purpose. I know some people are like, well, this is too difficult, or I'm too old, or this hurts and that hurts. Well, let me tell you, 33 years of active duty, 2 tours of combat. I'm home now. I have a steel rod in my neck. Why you see me kind of stand up straight most time. And it's fun to go through airports. But the reality is God has a purpose for every one of us.
Right.
And I love what Mark Keith Robinson says. He always says, you know, God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called.
Absolutely.
Every single person in the state of North Carolina has a role, something that they can do. At least, you know, that's my humble opinion. So you just got to be able to go out there and find out what that niche is, whether it's doing videos, even if you're just sitting at home liking a Facebook page or sharing something. Now is the time. Now is the time for us to be bold, stand up for what we know to be true.
Absolutely.
You know, don't be backing down anymore.
Nope.
You know, when people start saying, oh, this is peaceful protest and you're going to tear in the building, what have we become? I will say one thing, though, and I know I'm talking too much and too fast, but
It's okay.
my mother has a wonderful saying that I absolutely love. And she says, what you allow in your home is what you're going to have to live with.
That's right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. What are we allowing across the state and of America as well? State of North Carolina and the United States of America, we are allowing these things to happen. We allow indoctrination in our classrooms. Nobody even talks about school board members. Very seldom you ever hear them talk about a school board member. I was just going to throw somebody on there.
I can tell you what, we're talking about the Iredell County Republican Women, and we had a meeting
I'm
last
proud of y'all.
Thursday, and there were several people that are running that want to run for school board, and that's why we hosted that meeting, how to run for office, because I think as parents, the COVID, you're right, was probably one of the best things that happened to us.
Absolutely.
Because now we see what is being taught in our public schools, and we're not happy. And there's even a charter school in Iredell County that is going to be teaching the critical race theory next year. And if you would like more information, then you should probably reach out to
And you know, with that, I'd say this. When people say, well, my children are in private school, they're in charter school, I would say to them, very as nicely as I can, this concerns you because every single person that comes out of a public school is a product of what we have today. And quite frankly, you weren't paying attention. All this time, you know, we worry about this race, we worry about that race, but the hand that rocks the cradle, as they say, rules the world. The reality is our children are in school more hours than they're at home when you put it all together, and you've put them in that situation. That's where you need to be involved, and I love helping them with that. That's why I felt like there should be some type of education division. Now, the role as a vice chair, you know, that's, you know, they say like you're the right hand of the chairman and all this stuff, but you also have extra duties that can be assigned by the executive committee and the central committee. And I think it would be an awesome thing for them to go regionally and go out, talk to school board members, potential school board members, and make sure they understand what it's like. Because you don't just get on the board and say, okay, now I'm going to make decisions. When you get in there, that first meeting, you hit the ground running.
Absolutely.
And I have some experience with that because I ran in Lee County the first time, and the second time I ran, I received the highest votes ever in history for the Board of Education.
That doesn't surprise me, though.
But yeah, but it's a Democrat county. So, but I would like to see North Carolina go red. I know some people don't like it when I say this. You know, I'm glad that North Carolina went with the Republican president, but it should have never been close. We need to be red through and through.
Yeah.
And when people start standing up, and some people say, well, why aren't they do that? Well, let's think about it. They call us the silent majority. Not me, of course. I'm not silent.
No, we are not silent. No.
Yeah, we're not silent. But why are we the silent majority? My humble belief is this. We're the silent majority because we're working. You got the ones that's out there doing things. They don't have jobs.
Right.
They can say, okay, I'm up today. Let's go do this. I want it where every Republican across the state, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, when your feet hit that ground, I want the Democrats to say, oh my gosh, they're up now and they're moving.
Right.
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. I've seen that. Okay, so let me remind everybody, for our listeners, so the North Carolina GOP convention is this weekend in Greenville, North Carolina. It is June 3rd through the 6th, and Lynn is running for the NC GOP vice chair. So what is the role of vice chair? Let's drop back and punt just a wee bit. What is the role of the vice chair?
The vice chair, and you look at the plan of organization, and it talks about the vice chair. It stands in when the chair is not there. But they also have extra duties that's assigned. They work with the committee man, the committee woman, and
Keisha Lineberger, we've had her on our
we
show.
love her. Oh my gosh, she's got the
And
coolest
Edward
shoes.
Hill, who we've not had on yet.
Okay. Well, they're awesome. They really are. And they all have a heart for the party. And that's what matters. You know, they have a heart. Nobody's going to be perfect. You know, nothing's going to be perfect in a perfect world by any means. The only person that was perfect, of course, was Jesus Christ. However, in my opinion, when I'm watching these people that work, they really have a heart for it. If they put their heart in it, that's what matters. And those are the type of people that do that as well.
And then you're going to run on education as one of your platforms.
Yeah, that was one. Well, most importantly, not just education, and that is something that needs to be done, and I do believe at a state level, because every county I go to, the school board members tend to migrate to me. They will teach you at the North Carolina School Board Association the things that you cannot do, not the things that you can do.
Really?
And I get advertisements on my Facebook. I also get them in my email, my school board email, and I've been to meetings where they are during training, and they are actually bad-mouthing fellow Republicans. And there's a county I went to where two ladies hung up and stopped their training. Now, if they're going to do this to the people who are on the school board, you can only imagine what's going on in the classroom.
Right.
So, and that's just something that the parents should decide. You don't take little kids this little and say, you shouldn't be a boy or a girl yet. Mom and daddy didn't have the right to do that decision.
Right.
And now they're talking about the vaccines. I don't know if you saw that recently, where a child can make a decision. Parents need to be back in the classroom with their children and being involved. And don't go blaming teachers. I mean, I got teachers who work their butt off. You know, parents are just not that involved. And now they're waking up and being involved. We have some strong teachers in our county, and they're just wonderful. And
so I would like to remind you all, if you would like to ask Sherilyn a question, Lieutenant Colonel Sherilyn Womack, that you can call us at 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. And do we have a phone call? Okie dokie. Well, that was really good timing. I didn't notice. Good morning. This is Heather Gessel with Grassroots. How can we help you? Oopsies. Maybe not. Try again. Good morning. This is Heather with Grassroots. How can we help you? Okie dokie. So, one more time, Isaiah? Okay.
third time's a charm.
So, good morning. This is Heather Gessel with Grassroots. How can we help you? Or not. Okay, so my recommendation is to call back. If you would like to ask Sherilyn a question about the North Carolina GOP, the convention, her running as vice chair, or you just want to comment that she came in here wearing a Scooby hat.
Well, that's one of the things you talk about, things that I like to see our party do. We are the party of fun. We're not a bunch of, do we look like a bunch of old white men with attitudes? I don't think so.
No.
But we do that, and we think outside the box, when, for instance, the Scooby-Doo, that was for newbie. You remember
Yes,
Scooby-Doo
for newbie.
the Justice League, I think you had April on here earlier, things like that. So we get people involved, because you start young. They're starting young in your classrooms. This I can assure you.
Yep.
But as a party, when you go out and you do fun things like the parades, the floats, people love that kind of stuff. They get excited, and that gets people engaged and in the party. We actually had an event where people brought all their pets to the headquarters to take pictures.
Aww.
And then you take the pictures of them and their pets, and then you put it up on the website, and they get out there and they learn.
Right.
I still believe that a lot of people are actually Republicans. They just don't know it. When they say, well, I'm independent or I'm a Democrat, once they read the platforms and they see that, once they have that knowledge, and I think we as Republicans have that responsibility. Not just, it's something we should be doing every day. It's like when people say, oh, I'm a Christian, I go to church every Sunday. That don't make you a Christian no more than going to Burger King is going to make you a Whopper, right?
Right.
So as a Republican, that's something you do every day. And people will know, That's what I love, so I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun.
So I have Sandy Farley on here on Facebook that says, I love her enthusiasm, and I do too.
I don't know who Sandy is, but I love her too. Hey, Sandy!
So I would like to remind you all that, yes, you can absolutely call in through our telephone number. So you're taking a picture, and you totally threw me because I looked I'm so easily distracted. Should I cheese? Should I talk? I'm not really sure.
It's
So
just
you can
you
call
like
us
cat
in.
toy.
I know. It's 704-873-1400. You can also, I do have our Facebook Live up, and yes, Sandy is now waving and says you're very cool, but feel free to send us like, comment, and share on our Facebook page. That always helps our Facebook algorithm, and you probably already know more about that than I do. I just regurgitate the information.
You know, since it was Memorial Day.
Yes.
If you don't mind, I would like to take a second.
Please.
Sometimes I like to explain to people because I get a lot of thank yous, and people like to go to the YouTube and they put Sherry Womack Kandahar and see me deployed over there, or they put up a museum piece that.
That's what that picture is, right?
Yeah. You know, I'm old in dirt. That's why. So I'm aging like milk, but that's okay. But for me, when people say this.
No, we're not chunky and spoiled.
Okay.
We're aging like fine wine.
I'm fun size, right?
You and I are fun size, yes.
I just like said it on Memorial Day because for me, and you don't see a lot of posts, and I got so many phone calls and people saying thank you for your service.
Right.
That's usually something you do on Veterans Day.
Right.
Memorial Day is when you remember the people that you lost. And I've lost people. I think Brian, Justin, and Jamie, and Chuck and Michael. You never forget the faces. You never forget the names. So when we have Memorial Days, it's great you have barbecues and all this kind of stuff, because I really believe the soldiers would like for you to have fun and things. But I just like to say that I did get a lot of that, and I don't really post on that, but that doesn't mean that I didn't care. It's just a time that I kind of take to reflect for the guys that I lost. And that is also why I'm extremely passionate about doing this, because I believe that the country that we live in now, if we all don't get involved, we're going to lose those freedoms that our soldiers fought for.
Right.
So before you stop and say, oh, I want to thank a soldier, let me help you out. Thank a soldier, pick up a phone call, register to vote, do something that might make a difference and to help us maintain the same freedoms that we have.
Run for school board.
Run for the Board of Education.
Yeah.
I know there's like, you running again. I'm not running anywhere. I'm standing my ground. But I think this is a good way to go about it, particularly with the NCGOP. When you start looking at their plan of organization, the people you can outreach, because I'm going to go over the state anyway. People call me, I'm going to go, to talk and stuff. So the next morning,
I spent
the
first weekend of May with you in Asheville at the
Federation,
North Carolina Federation of Republican Women. There's so many acronyms.
I know. And I'm not, and that's one thing I think our party is probably not doing so well with, is you've got to reach out to these people. You can't just be in the club, because usually if you're already in club, you're kind of like-minded anyway. We've got to be able to, real true grassroots. Some people say I'm grassroots. They don't mean grassroots. They're AstroTurf. You know what I mean? Real grassroots is you're down in the
dirty.
Down the dirty. And he says, we're running out of time.
I know, we already have, we're down to 5 minutes.
But we're having so much fun.
I know. Okay, so let's move to, what will you add to the party?
Well, I hope to add a little bit of spark and enthusiasm. I told him I'd put a fire up there to get them going. Because that's what we need. I mean, we're not a bunch of dead people. No. You know what I mean? Now, if you were dead, you could vote Democrat. Just kidding.
Bless.
Just joking. But we are alive and well, and that's the message I want to be out there. This is our party. It's not about one man. It is about us, our Christian conservative values, and what we stand for.
Right. What does the Republican Party need to do to unite? Because I know that that's unity is one of your things. It was one of my things, too.
We have got to reach out. For instance, we got a convention. Look how much money it costs. People coming from Cherokee or whatever, a couple $1,000 to come. There should be more events where people can come, like barbecues. People's had me at their houses, movies. Oh, that was so cool in Orange County.
Aww.
That's the kind of stuff where you get out and reach people.
So Maggie has a couple of questions. How old were you when you joined the Army?
17.
Wait.
I was 17 years old when I joined the Army. Yeah. True story. It took them 2.5 years to make my combat boots. And I've been kicking butt ever since.
Yes, you have.
That was a good investment.
And then, yes, it was. And then what is your education background?
Oh, wow. I have a master's degree in PH studies. I was emergency medicine PA, and I helped train residents and do all that kind of stuff. And then I have what they call an ABD. It's all but dissertation in organizational management and leadership. And I love to study women in the Bible and the roles that they have.
Now, can we also bring up your husband? Because you two are also you're amazing. You're a dynamic duo.
Yep. Well, he works with the Conservative Coalition, and they do things like that too, but we do a lot of things where we support each other. We we joke, everybody always asks us how long you've been married, and I say, not long enough, or how many kids do you have? One too few, because we got 5. We're saving for the girls' college, the boys' parole. Well, it could be the other way around, that kind of stuff. But we are always active, and I think there's a lot of military now that's pretty fired up. Yeah. I know my mom was like, this was a funny story. She's like, honey, when you get married, you're gonna understand he's gonna expect breakfast in bed. I'm like, well, honey, he better sleep in the kitchen. And so he ain't got no breakfast in bed. This morning I kissed him by on my way out the door just to see you.
Bless it. Thank you. And my son just loves your husband. So your husband, and I know I told you the story, but when your husband was running for the chairman of the party, your husband spoke to my 12-year-old, he was 12 then, like he was a grown man.
Absolutely. Well, we have a special needs child, and he's great. Yeah, we do. We have a special needs child, and my mom lives with me. She adds more life every day than you can possibly imagine. I mean, I absolutely love it.
Oh, crikey. Now we're down to 2 minutes. Okay, so how can people reach you?
Oh, that's easy enough. It is at, there you go, at Sherry4NC. That's on Facebook. And on my Gmail, it's about SherryLynnWomack@gmail.com, and I'll leave this with you. And it's got my cell number on there, too. And I actually take phone calls, and you're welcome to text me.
Oh, well, I'll have your number, but I wouldn't share it unless I had to.
That's okay.
I'm very private with people's numbers. But is there anything else, because now we're down to about a minute and a half, is there anything else that you would like to say that we have not covered?
No, I would just like to encourage fellow Republicans who are out there to stand up and be bold, and don't be ashamed of who you are or how God made you. Because that's one of the things that's the greatest gift that you have is being unique. And that's how we need to reach out to people in the parties as well. Celebrate our differences.
So one last word of encouragement to the listeners, whether it be conservatives, Republicans, women, mothers, other veterans.
My last word of encouragement would simply be this. God is in control. But you also need to get up out of bed and do something.
That's right.
And the very last thing I'd say is, again, my name is Shirley Ann Womack. I'm a Christian, conservative combat veteran, and I would love to serve you as North Carolina's next vice chair.
And our NCGOP convention will be, as stated, this weekend, June the 3rd through the 6th. And I think you still could be able to register for Zoom, but I'm pretty sure it's sold out for convention. Is that right?
Sold out for convention, and Zoom closed out today.
Oh, well.
So that's okay. If you know a delegate, just call them.
Okay.
Hey,
like Heather, I'm a delegate, so you can call me. There you go. All right, everybody, thank you so very much for joining us today. I really hope that you found our show to be educational and hilarious.
And fun.
Because, when you bring friends on your show, you can have a great time. So, everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm Heather Guess with Grassroots. I hope you have a super duper fantastic day.